Morning, welcome back to Government School. In the last session, we have discussed about the classification of diabetes. Today, I will be discussing with one of the major types of diabetes, that is type 1 diabetes. As we know, diabetes is classified into type 1, type 2, other specific types of diabetes, and gestational diabetes mellitus. So, what is type 1 diabetes? Type 1 diabetes is there is absolute deficiency of insulin. That is absolute deficiency. What is an absolute deficiency? That is the beta cells of the pancreas is producing the insulin and the beta cells are destroyed. This leads on to decreased bar absent insulin. So this is the basic pathomechanism. So this decrease in the insulin leads on to hyperglycemia. And once the patient has got increased blood sugar, the kidneys will be excreting the glucose down because kidneys cannot absorb all the sugar that is filtered. So along with the glucose, water also goes. So this leads on to polyuria. So one of the classical symptom of diabetes is polyuria, and the mechanism is this osmotic diuresis. Glucose is needed for the metabolic functions, and so this leads on to weight loss. So the three cardinal symptoms of diabetes, that is the polyuria, polydipsia, polyphagia, and unexplained weight loss. This is characteristic in type 1 diabetes. Whereas in type 2 diabetes, these symptoms may not be there. That is why I am stressing this. The classical symptoms, they are mostly symptomatic. And they present usually acutely because there is a decrease in the insulin production. Second thing, it is seen in young people. So the majority of patients are between 10 to 14. So type 1 diabetes occurs in the younger age group, whereas the type 2 occurs in the elderly. So third point we have mentioned, it is due to autoimmunity. So antibodies are produced against the beta cells. So autoantibodies are present in the blood in around 95% of the type 1 diabetes. 5% can have no antibodies. That also to be kept in mind. So there is a subgroup of type 1 diabetes. They are mentioned as type 1b. There is no antibodies are seen. So we have got two types of type 1. One is the type 1A and type 1b. Hope this point is clear to you. So third is, as there is absolute deficiency of insulin, these people are prone for ketosis. So blood may show ketone bodies and the patient can develop what is called a diabetic ketoacidosis. Hope these points are clear to you. So I will summarize what are the features of type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes 1, it is seen in young people. Second, they have got osmotic symptoms. They are symptomatic. Third, they are prone for diabetic ketosis or ketonemia can be there, for autoantibodies are present in 95% of the people. So these important points to be kept in mind. Now we look into what is the mechanism, what is the etiology of type 1 diabetes. The exact etiology is not known, but still we consider that it is due to two factors. One is the genetic. So there is a genetic predisposition. Second is environmental. Why do you say there is a genetic? It is found that if a child has got the mother with type 1 diabetes, his mother is having type 1 diabetes, the chance of the offspring to get diabetes is around 3%. If the father is type 1, the chance is around 6%. So there is increased incidence of diabetes in the offsprings of the parents. So that is one point favoring a genetic predisposition. Second, when there is a monozygotic twin is there is increased risk of development of diabetes for them. Environmental factors are also there. We don't know exact environmental factors. The protective environmental factor is the breastfeeding. Breastfeeding for 6 months at least has got a protection from development of diabetes type 1. Hope this point is clear. People going from third world countries to the well-developed countries, Scandinavian countries, etc., they have got a higher incidence of type 1 diabetes. So this favors the possibility of a environmental reason also. So some hypotheses are there. One is that improved sanitation and public health leads on to decreased immune stimulation in the young, and this leads on to immune dysregulation and beta cell destruction. It's not a proved theory, but there is a theory like this, that is the increased sanitation leading on to less stimulation of the immune system in the childhood can also lead on to. So one more point you should think, that many of the, or around 5% of adults with so-called type 2 diabetes are actually type 1 diabetes. That is, they are not having absolute deficiency of insulin. Some amount of insulin is there even though the beta cell is destroyed by autoimmunity. So they may present with diabetes in the adulthood. That is, slow destruction leading on to development of diabetes at an adult. They are called LADA. LADA means latent autoimmune diabetes in the adults. So this should also be kept in mind. So we have discussed about the type 1 diabetes, the basic mechanism, etiology, and introduction to what is LADA. In the next session, we will discuss about type 2 diabetes. Thank you.